Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at the K-Dance Challenge from Street Man Fighter. It is Primekingz versus Justjerk. Very excited about it. Now I will say this, I know that Chu did not do the best of jobs in actually doing this challenge well, because what happened is there's going to be a split screen. And I feel like the split screen really takes away from me focusing on a particular group, as well as the end screen that they have at the end of the video pops up like 10 seconds till the end, and I'm missing content. So there's a chance you're gonna see me flip-flop between the two competitors' videos, just so I can make sure I get the most context so I can objectively view it as well as possible. But just know I do see that, and it is frustrating for me, but that's why you're gonna see me kind of operate that way. So, but let's go ahead and take a look. Okay.
The Crump King.
Very curious how they're going to do this. Wow. This has to be Primekingz choreo. They're actually doing a very good job with the track. It's interesting they chose to go with the skull like paint. Oh, it's a Justjerk choreo. They're just popping off right here. Wow, they finished strong. Okay. That's how they finished. Okay. So my overall notes, I feel that Primekingz, because they're going up against Justjerk, right? I actually really like the pocket they chose. I felt like they stayed true to themselves, but they also tried their best to mesh with the songs that they were given, you know? Do I think I know I don't even have to watch Justjerk's to know there's a really good chance that Primekingz, their viewage for their fan votes probably did not work in their favor, because I would say they have a similar fan base, like Wolflow has a similar fan base, right? Because of the scene that they're in. So I have a feeling that Justjerk probably could have taken this challenge, even though I haven't even seen what they've done yet. If they're clean, they probably may have taken it regardless because of their fan base. So I'm just saying that up front. Now, there is something I want to note here. Whenever you do a K-dance or K-pop dance, where your angle is matters. So everybody's pretty much on the same line. He's hovering. I know they're like hovering their faces, which is fine, but it kind of gives it away just a little bit right there. And he has, of course, they have little different makeup. I wonder if they're referencing to clowning, because clowning always the parent style of Crump. I don't know, but I don't mind that. I love how they do and they bled it down. They're doing a good job creating more legato moments, which normally you don't get in Crump as much. But also you can tell they're Crumpers that are trying their best, is what it feels like. And I actually really like their efforts. I would say my dancer in the back, I think he rushed the two waves a little bit too quickly. Let's go back and let's double check that. Yeah, it's bururu, duru. He went, so he did a little bit too fast. Yeah. So they are, and I will say too, they are taking a more simplistic approach to the track as well. And we know BTS, and I mean, like, what's nice is I'm very fortunate to know, at least with the challenges so far, I know all of the artists fairly well. This feels very, I mean, the first two challenges I've already seen, those were like that was a Gen 2, Gen 3 kind of vibe. This is like a Gen 3, BTS is a Gen 3 group. So I'm more familiar with these artists than I am with Gen 4. So I've seen these music videos. I know kind of what the basis of the original aesthetic of the choreo was. So I can see where they took influence off of, but I also know whether or not they're approaching it overly simplistic or overly complex too, for the type of track that made it as popular as it was. This is probably one of the best things that Primekingz could do, was try to mess up Justjerk by doing the most difficult hat tricks possible. But what they ended up doing is, because you have something overly complex right here and they're kind of banking on them not being able to execute it, which I technically haven't seen their try to it yet, I'm going to assume that they focused a lot right here, and tricks is like making sure they're doing it and they're complementing it, but they're complementing it in a simplistic way. And honestly, when they'd done their crew previews, I was very surprised at how complex it was. But remember, it's under crump in that pocket, you know, and they have some popping technique that they add into it, but not like your typical like Fresno style popping. Like they add that kind of texture and integration. So popping and crump, a lot of times, Yaya's a great example of this. She's done she's very well known in the crump scene, but also she's very good in popping, specifically robot technique. And I think a lot of it, there's a lot of overlap in the technical fundamentals that makes the crump and popping refined is some of those things that you see. You know, so you end up having, everybody is matching what Trix is doing here, you know, and the important thing is whoever gets that hat, you got to own it and do it. Even Trix almost lost it, you know. Yeah, so as they go around, I like this, how they peeled it out. It's cool that they have a little bit of, they got some floor work happening right here, and you got your midline and you got your top. I really like the levels present here. It's very nice. Yeah. And I love that was nice. And they build up. Yeah, that was fun. Very intense. They build it very well. Yeah. Fire, 3, 4, 5. So this feels, I will say this choreo, now we know that this choreo is Justjerk's. I can tell. I mean, of course we have the lines down here, but the hat tricks is such a, what Trix did, like it's such a thing he does. It would be weird if Justjerk gave that kind of choreo to a crump crew like them. Like, you know, that would be something they would dish out, just like a breaking crew would dish out breaking to another crew who may not be the best at it. So here we know this is Justjerk just from process of elimination. Now here, also know that it feels significantly more complex what they're executing here in comparison to the other things that we've seen them do. And that's kind of my point of, you really want to try to make it cohesive throughout your entire set and not make it like we are being challenged by another group, you know. Like this could, like, you want this concept to live on something, you know, as simplistic, not simplistic, you want it to be cohesive, you know. But they're doing a good job holding it down. I will say one of my dancers in this back corner, I think he kind of, stalled a little bit. Like he hesitated a little bit on some of the movement. And so I think that factored into the cleanliness of this. Yeah, like he shot his hands out a little bit too late, you know? Yep, and Justjerk is known as doing some polyrhythmic grooves. So he's doing kind of a heel dig variation with some upper body movements to complement, and that's really tricky to do if you're not used to it, especially to make it captivating. I don't know if he was supposed to go into a split, but he didn't quite make it all the way down. I think they moved within their means. Yeah, and also the legs on that weren't as clear either. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be 3 swings or just a kick. So just little things like that. I love that they're popping off here. Not many people can hit that kind of intensity. Yeah, 3, 4. Now, I will say this, some of them are utilizing their head, some of them are utilizing their chest, and that's just something to take a note of here. Yeah, so even when you do unison in a transition, it really helps if everybody's on the same page of how big and aggressive you want to go in that torso. And he kicks through. That was really cool. They're so intense. I love it. And they're done. Love it. That was cool. I'm very impressed by Primekingz. I really can see the effort that they put in to try to not just do them and just make it work. Like they really tried, especially in the first song, I think it's Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They really tried their best to integrate different pockets of texture, and it didn't look off to me. I can just tell that I know that was a different pocket than what they're used to doing. But I still really enjoyed it. I really liked this attempt from Primekingz. It's good. Let's go ahead and we're gonna watch Justjerk now.
This way, Justjerk.
They trying to make an eyeball. Ooh, that was cool. I like this a lot. I love that. Wow, Annie caught it. That was nice. And it didn't look super off either. This doesn't look super off compared to their choreo, which is really good. But I know they also have Hulk too, right? Wow. Oh, they did not show mercy. Oh, that's an S1. Woo! Okay, so it wasn't a split. Okay. There was 3 scoops in the back. That was very good. I very much enjoyed that. Let's take a look back here. This beginning was cool. It's Blood, Sweat, and Tears is the name of the track, the first one. It looks like an eye, but tears come from the eye, so I understand that. Yeah. We gotta talk about that. So the fact is they went da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then they bled and they kept with one person to bleed through that run instead of just keeping it going all the way in. So they went to the, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. That was such a cool way to peel it or to ripple it down. I loved that choice. Yeah, and then they all come back together. That was really smart choice on their part. That money, 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 and they're taking a more, of course they have a sense of some militant unison whenever they do their steps and stomps, but then they have this more of like that sensual kind of hip that happens sometimes, and when you hear about the backbeat of this song, that works really well. It's just one of those kind of, sometimes it feels, it has that ballroom influence a little bit, you know, not projecting that onto there, but I really very much like that choice they did. And then there's your good old basket runs. I don't know, Justjerk. You gotta be mindful of your basket runs, because to me that is just a cop out of an 8 count. It really is. You could figure out so many different ways to do your basket run, but the fact is it has a name because we've seen it. Mega crews are the worst at doing basket runs because you see them, and I think here, just like this, the basket runs getting to your spot, I really feel that they could have, because they set it up so well, they really could have made a different choice in getting to that spot. But I also know they were setting up for this section in particular right here. So I think they were probably really worried about it, but they did a good job of hitting this. But look, even if you take note here, he ends up catching it better than Trix. Trix almost lost it because you can tell. I mean, I'm not really watching them here because I was watching him here, but because we've already touched on Primekingz, notice that he had to catch himself right here with his foot, and you can tell based on the jerk reaction of that leg, you know, he like tripped a little bit out of it just to make sure he caught it. But Youngjae didn't have to do that. Yeah. Yeah, I will say Youngjae kind of dropped a little bit too fast there. Yeah, that second half of that section, that Primekingz section, was a little bit labored, but they still did very well. They maintained cleanliness, which was really helpful. Yeah, but I think it was smart they had him in the center because he has the most crop background, I think, out of everybody, and it worked well. Yeah, so I would say it's interesting that they chose this kind of pocket because this is very much, I think, people who do crump, I think, can pop off way more than the average person for a groove pocket like that. But then you have this footwork here as they go down. So actually, looking at how Justjerk's doing their choreo, I don't think Primekingz was super far off. I just think they had one or two of their people just not fully exude the range that was required to keep it clean the whole time. Now, you can tell S1 is very clear what he's doing here. He drops down, and it looks like he's having everybody respond to what he's doing, but whenever you see Primekingz do it, it looks more like he's doing separate choreo in comparison to everybody else on the outside. So I would say Justjerk's looks more collaborative. Now that was cleaner. I will say with Justjerk also, I would say they have the same problem. Hulk really popped off on that leg. Nobody else did nearly as much. Ready? Yeah, I would say they did it, but they did it more towards the back than the side, but you saw Hulk's leg really propel out to the side. Yeah, that is very similar to what, like similar to what BTS hit. Different choreo, but similar in what they registered and they hit in the musicality. I love this little groove. That was super fun. And I love how they finish on the floor. Yeah, that's fun. I enjoyed that. Okay, if I were to pick out of the two, I would have to pick Justjerk because if I were to take the fan vote out of it, which I think really was a key factor in all of this, I think Justjerk had a bigger fan base than Primekingz did, and I think that really helped. I think Justjerk was a little bit cleaner than Primekingz on their section, and I think Primekingz almost met Justjerk with the execution of their section. So I would say it was pretty close, but I would say Justjerk pulled it out because they had really nice pockets of moments that matched that music really, really well. And you would also take a look at, I mean, no one can really do crump better than Primekingz in the show. You can really see that. And I feel that they picked really smart places to place their authenticity of their crump pocket. But you also have to keep in mind that it's not just about that. You don't want to showcase the predictability of what you bring to the table. Part of it is Justjerk presented different options outside of just what they normally do, and I think that really helped them here, especially with their actual choreography that Primekingz had to replicate. I really think they did a good job on making it different than their typical stuff, and I think that helped them, and that's going to be their ongoing struggle throughout the whole show, is making sure what they bring to the table is not always the same. And I think so far they're doing a good job of that. So that would be my vote out of the two, but I think Primekingz held their own mighty fine, and I'm really proud of them for it. I think they did great here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. This has been wonderful reacting to the Street Man Fighter series. Fun fact, if you are on Patreon, you guys were able to see this probably about a month earlier than mostly everybody else, because I did a marathon of as much SMF as possible, and so a lot of people got to see it as it was made, and other people, you know, you may just be seeing this now, which I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad I'm able to be here and showcasing this, and thank you for hanging out. But if you want more content way faster and way earlier, you can head on over to Patreon, and it will be there for you to glean and process and binge watch to your heart's content. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.